Hello and welcome to week 5 of the Weekly Source. I'm your host this week, Pete. I'm joined by Yanni.
Hello.
Joined by Liam.
Hello.
And I'm also joined by Luke.
Hello.
This week we're missing Hog Sauce because we just assumed that he's having a baby, either that or he's completely ignoring the messages and left the podcast without actually telling anyone. Right, this week we're talking about social media and networking and how it has the effect on everyone's general daily life now compared to like 20 years ago. Right, Yanni, I believe you got something to say first before we start.
Yeah, sorry, lads. It's not about social media or not, and it's just a question. I need answering. So, the petrol station by ours was a mile away from our house. You remember it, don't you, Peter?
Yeah.
And it takes the average man, the average man walks 5 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So why has it took 20 years for my dad to come back?
Well, it's because he didn't want to hug me. Right. So, after that dead joke, we'll move on.
It was dead because everyone had the mics fucking muted. Hey, Luke, cut that, yeah?
Don't worry, lad. We'll just edit these laughs into it, lad. Hey, I'll just cut and paste these laughs, lad, into it.
That's it, lad.
Hey, lads, everyone do a black laugh now. Don't worry, lads. Don't worry. I'll cut and paste these laughs into it, boys. Should be sound.
Good one, lad. Hey, do us a favour as well. Cut and paste you saying I'll cut and paste these laughs into it over it, if you can.
Go ahead, lad.
Go on. Ta-ra, lad.
Shut up.
He's just fucking off from the podcast. I'm
going to leave just like my dad did.
Right. I know I've literally just said we're talking about social media and all that, but the wrestling's on this week. And I just want to know, Liam, how much of a goth are you?
Yeah, I'm not a goth, mate.
On a scale from 1 to goth, do you eat bats or not drive a car?
I don't drive a car.
Brain.
But I don't eat bats either. I'm just not a goth, mate.
How many pairs of Doc Martens would you have sex with?
Maybe just a Martin.
If you don't drive, you're at least 50% goth, aren't you? It's got to be.
Yeah.
You know, lad. Do you know what? That's why I listen to Linkin Park on the bus every day.
That's it, lad.
Right.
Well, that's it.
No, that's it. Go on.
Let's get into this. I want to know from you, Yanni, because I know you speak about it with Luke an awful lot. What do you think the effects of things like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram has on people these days compared to like 20 years ago?
Well, it's a weird one, you know, because I am a big believer in conspiracy theories, and it's been proven that Facebook have done tests with some of its users where it statuses at them, or status, however you say it, but it aimed stuff like that, like made the content that they were seeing sadder to see if they started posting more sadder things, do you know what I mean? And they've done it with other people where they were doing happier posts and all they were seeing was happier to see if it affected the mood.
Yeah, so it was like emotion kind of manipulation.
Yeah.
To try and manipulate people's thoughts, processes and stuff.
Yeah, because that's what they were doing anyway. I don't know what they were getting out of it or why they were doing it, but they were doing it and it was proven that they were doing it. But it just makes me think sometimes, because I go on Twitter a lot, and sometimes I'll be reading it and I'll just get wound up by what I'm seeing. And I'm thinking, is this me getting wound up because I'm actually angry by it? Or is this getting aimed at me to try and get me wound up? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do think a lot of that, we underestimate the power of social media and the effect it has on us.
Well, I think it's so easy for people to just live a fake life on social media. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like how often... Well, like how often like you just post the good stuff? You never go, oh, mate got fired today, had a shit day, me bird's knobbing someone else, and my car's broke down.
Listen, I know with Liam that at least one of them statements are true. I'm not going to say which one, but I know one of them were.
Do you know what though, lads, right? from my experience with social media, with Liam saying there, like it's kind of like a shop window, isn't it, of your life? Social media, and it's what you want people to see of your life. So people like kind of exaggerate this like really happy lifestyle that they've got. But on the flip side, though, there's people on my social medias that just use it to rant and they just chat shit, all the problems, complaining constantly. So I think it's like one or the other, isn't it?
To be fair, what Liam was talking about before, about how people don't share the bad stuff on social media, you can always tell something's got on with most couples when they're sharing a joint Facebook.
I don't know anyone that has a joint Facebook.
Neither do I, but I think
No,
that's weird.
personally, I don't. And if it did, I'd get the police to search your hard drive. But it's a weird one because when you
Anyone
see stuff
fancy
like
going
that,
to Beetle Bats?
nah, but do you know what I mean? Like certain people who you've got on Facebook and that, you can tell when they're in relationships that they're having a shitty time of it, or they've split up with the fellas or the birds or something, because they start posting all these weird quotes and that, like, oh, I'm a strong, independent person and I don't need anyone else.
It's just passive-aggressive shit. That, like, if you've got a problem with someone, you go to social media and you see so many people writing passive-aggressive shit instead of just tagging them in it. So then that builds up more shit.
Do you know what, though, lad? It is, lad. It is. But social media on a personal front as well is basically you polishing the turd that is your life.
Yeah.
And showing it to everyone. Because everyone has shitty moments, like you were saying before. But no one shares it and no one goes. That's why I feel like there is a lot more depression and stuff like that in the world at the minute. Because no one's willing to share it. Everyone wants to put on this front to the rest of the world and act like they're okay. When
It's
a
like
lot of people aren't.
It's like a big shit game of Sims.
Yeah.
Well, I read an interesting stat actually in regards to mental health and the correlation of social media. 72.5% of people aged between 12 and 23, I think it was, said that if they feel that their life is unfulfilled based on observations on social media, and it causes them distress.
Well, think about it. You got the likes of the Kardashians and all that posting stuff on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, and they've got all this money in the world. They can do whatever they want, and they're going out on holidays, getting all this surgery.
Do you know
and
what
stuff.
though as well, Peter? Regarding the Kardashians, Khloe, it is. I think it's Khloe anyway. Khloe Kardashian put something the other day where she was promoting like milkshakes, you know, the dietary ones, which don't actually do nothing for you.
Yeah.
The benefits of them are really bad on you. And someone commented under it. I can't remember who it is. I think it might be Stormzy's bed, but I doubt it was. But she commented under it that Khloe Kardashian's had body image problems herself, and she should be using the platform that she's got to be promoting a good, healthy lifestyle and to get yourself looking the way you want for yourself, instead of pushing these diet drinks and that don't work, and she knows they don't work, on vulnerable girls who were vulnerable the way she was, and she felt the need to get surgery and stuff like that to look the way she does now.
Yeah, but people like that don't give a fuck. They're known as influencers, aren't they? What's that word?
Oh, influencers. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, all they do is they sit there and they get people inboxing them going, yeah, we'll give you 20 grand to post this. You're like, yeah, go ahead. They don't give a fuck what they're posting, as long as it's not too damaging towards them and they're getting money for it.
Yeah, they're not asked when it comes into money, but I think like stuff like that, I just feel like people disassociate themselves from reality when it comes to social media all the time. Like they don't realise that there's consequences to their actions. I'm one of them myself. I sit there on Twitter and I call at least 70 people a day a nonce. And
you know it's bad when you call them a dog nonce.
No, but I don't know half of them, and I'm just calling these random people like fucking child molesters, basically. And it's because I disagree with what they're saying. Like most of them are, and I stand by it. Most of them are nonsense with some of the shit they come out with. But I mean, no one's got like any sense of it's like you distance
Moral
it from your real
compass.
life. It's not even a moral compass. It's more like I've got good morals and that, but you distance it. You don't think of it like it's real life. It's just like a game
It's
because you're
because
online.
you don't
Yeah.
see what happens afterwards, do you? You don't see what effect it has on that person who you
No,
call
you don't see the outcome, do you?
Well, people are starting to be arrested now, aren't they, for what they post on social media to people?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think the governments and society are starting to recognise that social media and what you post is affecting people, and people are getting held accountable for it, aren't they?
Well, it's about time, to be honest, with some of the stuff which people come out with. It's unreal.
No, I mean, like we know ourselves, we're fucking 5 scouts, lads. The amount of shit
4.
that, no, well, 4, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, usually, the amount of shit that I get online off little mings who I don't know, who were probably like 12, sitting in the Mars boxing room, wanking into a sock all day. But the amount of shit you get off them for Heysel, and I was born fucking 3 years after Heysel happened, or they bring up Hillsborough, like, it's just, it's fine to have a little dig at it, because it's all banter and it's footy, and it's not. People died, and people haven't got a sense of what they're doing is wrong, because they're online and they feel like they can, and it's their right to.
Yeah, it's a whole filter thing, isn't it? It's like a protection for them. I mean, you get all these online trolls that feel safe sitting behind the keyboard or whatever, and they're not afraid of like calling people out online and calling them like all sorts of things, you know, for no reason. Just calling them like, you know, just abusing them basically. But would they do that on the street if they seen them face to face?
There is, lad. It's some sick things, you know. Like I've seen plenty, because I follow a lot of footy accounts and that. I've seen plenty of times when Liverpool have won, and we've had a good season this season. So we're bound to fucking get our hopes up and be like, "Oh, we could do it this year." I'm never going to say it out loud, and no one else I know is, because you just get shit for it. But as soon as you beat, like, I've seen it loads. As soon as you beat, Salah scores a couple of goals or something, and then all the Hazard fanboys come out, start comparing them to Salah, and then before you know it, they've got pictures of Hazard holding the fucking Premier League trophy in front of a picture of Hillsborough, and there's people dying on that picture, and they don't feel no fucking
Remorse.
no sense of remorse or anything towards what they're posting. They just think of it as, I can do this because it's my right to. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's a thing too. Again, with the anonymity of the internet, people think because they're sat, as you said, in a box room or wherever they are, in front of a computer screen, typing whatever the hell they want, they think they can get away with it. So,
It is.
Before I carry on my thing, I just want to go back to what you said about the Kardashians, Yanni.
Yeah, go on.
Big lawsuit last year, towards the end of last year. There was YouTube stars getting accused of profiting off fans' depression. You know, you mentioned about Khloe Kardashian.
Do you know what? I seen that. Weren't it something like they were promoting a hotline? That Philip DeFranco. I'm not saying he was the main culprit, but he was part of it, I remember, because I used to watch a lot of them.
Yeah.
And they were promoting, I don't know if you know about this, Luke or Liam. They were promoting
Nah, I don't really follow any of them celebrity things, mate.
They were promoting like a hotline for people who they can talk to when they've got depression and that, or they're feeling a bit down. And I think there was something a bit dodgy about the hotline or the money they were making off it. Something stupid like that.
The thing itself was called BetterHelp. There was people like, as you said, Philip DeFranco and Shane Dawson were posting videos saying, heartfelt videos saying, listen, I suffer with blah, 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 blah too. I've tried the service and they've helped me. It turns out all the therapists on that BetterHelp website were just random people. They weren't trained in anything. But the way the videos were coming across, you were getting fully trained people to help
you were
out.
getting like you were getting fully trained psychiatrists and that. They were blagging, weren't they? And it was just like they got Alan off the street to come and talk to you, see if he could make you feel better.
BetterHelp was meant to be sending like DeFranco and Dawson money this is all alleged from what I know of. They were meant to be sending them money to promote it, just so they get more people to come in and spend. I believe it was like $40, $50 per session to get people to talk about the depression, and they were just basically taking the money and fucking off.
Yeah,
that is one of the worst things you could do anywhere, because depression is a real illness, and I don't care what people.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
What people
Like,
say.
I think. Do you know what? We'll get back onto the depression part, but I mean, give Philip DeFranco his due. We're only saying like Philip DeFranco and Shane Dawson because they're the only two names that we can remember being associated with it. But I think when Philip DeFranco found out about it, he come out and he addressed it, and he said he didn't know what was going on. And I think he done something with the money. I think he gave it back or he donated it somewhere. But yeah, going on depression and that, I think everyone's been depressed. I know you have, Peter.
Yeah.
I know Luke has. I don't know about Liam myself, like if he said anything. But at the minute, I'm in a good place now, and I'm happy with where I am. But I do think social media and that doesn't help with it, because it does. It gives you like, you've got all this like everyone's great life in your face, and then you're like, oh, my life's so shit. Why can't I be doing this and that? And the majority of the people are going through the same hard times that you are. It's just they're only showing you the bells and whistles of it. You know what I mean?
It's an ongoing cycle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
That's it, though, lad. It's just fucking...
Liam, what's your thoughts then, lad, after hearing that?
I mean, the Kardashians are going to be fucking saturating the market and exploiting people's vulnerabilities in the process of making money. But at the same time, I think it's coming from a good place. It's a good PR stunt as well.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people do suffer with depression, and if they do look at them as a role model, then they'd be more inclined to use their service. And I mean, if someone has got depression and it cost them 10 quid on an extortionate hotline to get some help, I'm not saying it's morally right, but at least they've identified someone they can speak to. Now, whether they're trained to that standard or not, that's not something that we can really prove at this moment. So you just got to take it for the benefit of the doubt that whatever's set up is in place to work. I mean, I like to see the good in people, so I'd hope that everyone was there that was obviously qualified and stuff. That's it, really, lads.
All right, lad.
I mean, you made some good points there, Liam, but like, I'm quite the opposite. I find it hard to see good in people, especially people that I don't know or people in the limelight and stuff. And as we were mentioning before, with like social media, using it as a platform for promoting stuff and that. I mean, for example, does anyone remember the Fire Festival scandal?
Oh, yeah,
You mean the one with Ja Rule, or?
Yeah, that one.
Mate, it was meant to be lit, that, weren't it?
Well, that's it.
Hey, you're not like 30, lad, don't worry.
Well, it's one of them, isn't it?
Lilt, that.
I'm just waiting.
Sorry,
I'm just
Luke.
waiting to
Go on,
see him
mate.
do a dab.
Well, the reason why I mentioned the Fire Festival, I think it's just a perfect example of how social media can be used as such a powerful tool to promote something, even though it was with bad intentions, because he had no desire to produce a festival as what was promised. It was just to get rich quick scheme, wasn't it? That backfired on him in the end, like, but... Yeah,
and that fella just doesn't seem arsed that he fucked all them people over either, does he?
Well, I watched that documentary on Netflix called Fire, which is basically the whole, it's like basically a running summary of what happened and stuff.
Do you know what you might be better watching as well? There's one on Amazon about it as well, and apparently that's got a more in-depth look at it. But the Fire one on Netflix was the bigger one of it.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the documentary, after like he faces all the lawsuits and all shit like that, he went on to start another little side business, but he was using a different guy to front it because he wasn't legally allowed to own businesses and stuff. But that whole thing, it was called New York VIP Club, and he was basically selling fake tickets to events, like the Emmys and all shit like that. Well, not the Emmys, but like, these VIP events. He was basically selling fake tickets to people, and he made like 200 grand from it, and then went to prison. He got caught.
Nah, see, it's scum that. It's scum that.
Yeah.
Like.
He was a sociopath, the guy. I forgot his name now. But the guy who did the whole Fire Festival along with Ja Rule, he's just a scam artist basically. But the whole point was it all went through social media. He was using these high-profile individuals on social media, like the Kardashians and
Didn't
the
he
Jenners and
target
stuff.
like the top 10 fucking influencers in North America
Yeah,
to
basically,
promote it for him?
he was basically paying. He was paying them, or basically saying to them, if you promote this business idea for me, what I'll do is when it becomes a real thing, I will give you your own private villa on this island, so you'll have your own luxury pass. We've got to pay for your flights and all that shit. And obviously, he didn't deliver on that because it was,
Yeah.
I think what they ended up doing, like these luxury villas, basically, they were kicking people out the homes on this island and saying, oh, there's a couple of £100. Fuck off out your house for a couple of weeks because we're going to be using it and letting people live there. And they were just normal houses, they weren't luxury or nothing. But anyway, that's how he was paying for these people to promote it. But yeah, social media can be used, as a powerful tool, man.
There's another good thing too, from what we were discussing then about the Fire concert. There's also one called Hate Dies, Love Arrives. That was
Yeah.
Oh, don't you be talking about Foozy Tube.
Yeah, from Foozy Tube.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's that?
Luke, if you watch this Foozy Tube, yeah, he's a YouTuber lad. He used to be big, but he used to do a lot of pranks, and he would a lot of them. Do you remember when YouTube went through the phase of like calling out all the fake pranks and that? And it turned out a lot of them were hiring actors and stuff.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Foozy Tube was one in it. And lately, I don't know what it is. I do, me personally, like looking at him and that, he seems a bit manic to me. Do you know, like he's bipolar.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been addressed. But he's doing a lot of like mad things at the minute, and he started a concert called Hate Dies, Love Arrives or something, and he sold tickets to it for weeks, advertising it for weeks. He was on Facebook, YouTube, fucking you name it, he was on it, saying that Drake was going to headline it, and that.
Fuck
and
off.
Drake even come out before it saying like Drake's management, it got that big that Drake's management come out and said he's never even met the fella and that. And but that Foozy Tube started taking like videos of he was following Drake to like clubs that he was in, taking videos in the same club as Drake to try and push it more that Drake was going to be there. And hundreds or thousands turned up to this event, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
Basically, Foozy Tube just got up and had a metal breakdown.
All you need to do, that's Shane Dawson before he got a reputation for having sex with cats and stuff.
It's the only pussy he's ever had.
Or coming on them or whatever he's being accused of at the minute.
Allegedly.
He was doing like a docu-series on it, and he had Foozy Tube on it, and it was all about this Hate Dies, Love Arrives. No, it weren't, sorry. It weren't Shane Dawson, it was Keemstar. Keemstar done it on it, and it went like behind the scenes, and then you see more of that Foozy Tube and what he was like. But you see more of that Foozy Tube, and then you could sort of tell that he was a bit manic, and he looks like he's got bipolar because he's acting like someone who's having a manic episode.
Right, it actually came out later because he did a podcast with Logan Paul, is it? He does the Impulsive podcast.
Yeah, it's one of them. One of them.
It's one of the ones with a bad hairline anyway. Yeah, he actually went on to it last week or the week before. And
to be honest, though, I can't wait for Logan Paul to promote the Weekly Source podcast on his podcast.
Yeah, it came out that he actually realised he was suffering with a mental breakdown, and it was due to some tablets which he was taking.
But medication can affect you like that as well. But I think the team, when you're seeing it, like, because he was a big social media star, he had a lot of followers and that, and the team he had around him, instead of them looking at him, anyone with a pair of eyes could tell there weren't something right with him. And instead of any of them saying this, they basically used him as a meal ticket because he was their cash cow. Without him, they haven't got a job.
Again, it was like a big social media presence. He was like bringing in the clout.
He was the influence, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But then at the end, because I think we got away from what the concert ended up with, at the end, Drake didn't turn up because he obviously weren't going to. He had rappers off like SoundCloud and shit, like proper shit rappers. No offense, I don't know any of them personally,
like
but what I heard was shit. And he got up and done a rap at the end on his own, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. But that was like a smaller scale fire festival. He done exactly the same as what they done, but on a smaller scale. He didn't fly people out to an island or anything.
Yeah.
The reason why I brought up Fuzi was because, as we were talking before about like people and their depression with social media and whatnot, he actually, luckily for him, he actually realised he had a problem and he was able to go out there and get help. He came off YouTube.
He went dark, didn't he, for a bit?
He went dark for a good few months and then came back and said, listen, I know I was in a bad place. I needed to take time off. I've been working non-stop for how long, and this stuff which I was taking, which I thought was actually making me better, was making me worse. And this is, now I'm better. I want to start going back into the YouTube, but I don't want to be going as hard as what I did because I don't want to be ending up back into that same place. But there's people out who think this is the be all and end all. I'm going to be like this forever. There's always help out there for anyone. That's the reason why I brought him up, because
if you look at that though as well, that is a negative side of social media, because whether we like it or not, YouTube's a social media as well now. And but a lot of the people on it, they just blow up and they don't know how to handle it in the end. And a lot of them do go a bit down that path. But what I was going to say was, I found, I don't know if you've seen this, Liam, it was on Twitter the other day, people have become really distant to each other. Not like I seen a video the other day, it was in New York, there was this fella on the train, and he kicked this woman in the face like 2 or 3 times. The woman was in her 70s, and there was about 4 people, and they're all just recording it. And I'm thinking, if that was like 25 years ago, that fella would get put on his ass, and he wouldn't be getting up. He kicked an woman in the face there, and people just let it happen.
Well, yeah, Jan, I've seen that video, mate, and it's horrific, to be honest. I don't know, it's a hard one, because I think everybody goes, oh, mate, if that was me, I'll flatten him. But then obviously there was people there that never flattened him. So you've got to look into it a bit more than that. I mean, you would hope everybody would go up and chin the fella. But I think it's down to people's fight or flight responses. And I just think people are scared to get into confrontation these days.
Yeah.
Now, like, I don't know whether that's because there's a greater risk of getting stabbed than there was 20 years ago, or if people are making that as an excuse. Like, oh, mate, I was dying to get involved there, but you don't know if he's carrying a knife. Do you know, with all that gear? And now, if they want to think that, then that's fair enough. But there's an old lady who's just been booted in the head, so what would you want to do? So it's down to people's fight or flight response. And because people are less likely to get into conflict these days, then they're not really training that fight or flight response. So they get scared and freeze much more often than what you would have when we were like hunter-gatherers. Do you know what I mean? If you stopped back then, mate, then like the lion would eat you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get what Liam's saying there, but if they are freezing, have they still got time to get the phones out? To me, it just seems like people now are more asked about
views,
capturing something and getting views and shit and a bit of clout off social media because they're the ones who took the video or whatever, than they are helping people.
I think with like the whole recording thing, that could just be like the new modern version of flight.
Of running away.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I know from personal experience, I've got a high fight instinct when I see stuff that's going on around me. I step in, and sometimes it's been a bad move, sometimes it's been a good move.
Yeah, Luke turns into a warlord.
I do, lad.
Starts launching people and
Here's
that.
something to think about, lads. Do you think that people are recording it? I'm not saying that they all do, but some people must justify themselves that are recording it, going, "Oh yeah, well this is evidence for the police." So instead of going to break it up, like that's becoming people's action now instead of saving the person.
How
like,
much evidence
Right,
do they
I'll
need?
record that now. But if everyone broke fights up, how boring would the internet be? Because there's so many world-star boss fights, mate.
Yeah.
Before we continue, Jan, I'd just like to welcome Hog Sauce. Hopefully the baby's actually here now, the amount of time he's took to actually join this podcast.
Nah, lad, nah. Not at all.
It's not
Lad,
a good
lad,
enough
lad.
excuse.
Lad's fucking pissing me off, lad.
Let's be honest though. That baby's got that big hog sauce head. That's staying in there for about 2 years.
Right, to switch gears a little bit, I'd just like to know, how do you guys get your media content? Like, what's your go-to site, should we say?
Yeah, can I answer this first?
Pornhub.
Oh.
I knew it, lad. I can read you like a book.
Well, I mean, I use Twitter to get my sports news. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a must, like, isn't it, for Twitter? Because you get, like, all the transfer gossip, you know, you get your team selections and all that, they're quick and that.
Hog, what about you?
To be honest, lad, like, I'll probably say Twitter's better. I only really use Facebook for, well, I used to use it for memes and shit like that, but...
Facebook's just a video channel now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just videos, lad.
It's just a hybrid, isn't it?
I was going to say that. Has anyone noticed that we don't really use Facebook anymore?
Yeah.
It's more like it's somewhere where you find your mind residing these days, it feels like.
It is, lad. It is, yeah.
All right, Liam, what about you, mate?
Twitter for memes, Instagram for family shit.
Jan?
I'm on Twitter all the time, and I use YouTube loads. That's about it.
You know what the constant theme there seems to be? Twitter. Everyone seems to go onto Twitter to get all the news and whatnot and speak to people. My thing is we all speak to each other on that. We all speak to each other on the PlayStation and on Facebook. Do any of you remember where you had to actually pick up a phone to call someone properly, or going around and knocking on a house to actually see whether they're coming out or to see whether they're in?
Well, it's mad, isn't it? Because I think us being the age we are, we're like the last of the generations of experiencing, like, you know, having no mobile phones and that.
Yeah, we
mean-
remember life pre-internet and post-internet.
Yeah. But, like, you got these kids today, haven't you? Where, like, they've been born into, like, the social media age. Where, like, I've got mates who have got kids that fucking at the age of, like, 2, lad, are, like, fucking pure unlocking tablets, lad, with the fingers and, like, going on fucking YouTube and all that. It's mad,
Thing
It's
is-
mad, like, I let the baby there. Like, my little boy's 2 next month. And if I've got him in bed in the morning and I want, like, an extra 10 minutes, I'll just give him my phone with YouTube on. And he'll sit there and hold it and he's made up with it, like. But they're like, there's kids now who were like experts with it all.
Yeah.
It's mad, like, innit? Because, like, I was talking to my bird about it and said, like, I said to her, to be honest with you, like, I want to ease off, like iPads and fucking phones and all that.
Electronical stuff.
Yeah, I want to ease off until she's, like, till the baby turns, like, 5, you know what I mean? But then, in one way, it's kind of hampering that, like, because I think, like, this is part of development that using, like, iPads, etc., will help at that age, because they are fairly complicated, you know, devices when you think about it. So I feel like if you don't let your kids, like, be involved in it kind of hampers them in one way.
You've got to find a balance with it, haven't you? You don't want the iPad or a tablet to become like a parent to them or a pacifier, but you want it to be a learning tool, which it can be.
But at the same time, you don't want to be like, okay, 30 minutes iPad time today. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know, when you know when you're a kid, and your mom was saying to you with like the PlayStation, you say, okay, you have an hour after your homework, and then you have your tea or something like that. Like it doesn't work, and that's exactly the same with iPads. Like because they're the same as phones, they're like lifestyle tools. You know what I mean? They're not for like short, brief moments in time. It's lifestyle. It's got a question, Google it. You're bored on your way into school, YouTube. You know what I mean?
Here's one for you, lads. Do you know my first ever family computer we had was a Windows 98 Time machine? Do you know them fucking that brand Time? And we had a dial-up internet connection, so it meant me ma couldn't be on the phone, right? So me and my brother used to cycle an hour each. So when we got home from school, he was allowed the internet for an hour, then me, then him, then me. So it would work out that one of us would get the prime time MSN slot at about 7 till 8. And then, like, you'd be looking at your brother, like, lad, you're not even speaking to anyone, lad. Let me have a go, lad. And he's like, no, it's my go.
Yeah. you just nudging people, aren't you?
I'd literally be in the middle of fucking chatting to someone, and then RJ be like, right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sign me out, and then he'd carry on speaking to that person. I'd be like, what are you trying to get on the graph for, lad? I've just done all the work there.
Little Liam's doing all the hard work.
I met my wife on MSN.
Did any of you use MySpace?
My MySpace is still actually going.
Yeah, but MySpace closed down for good, like 2 weeks ago, you know.
I used Bebo, lad. Hey, Bebo.
Fucking hell, remember Bebo, lad?
JDO City was where it was at, you know.
Nah, Grindr was smashing it.
Yeah.
Do you guys think it's mad how we've went from those types of sites like MSN Messenger and, as I said before, about going around and knocking on people's doors to see whether they can come and play football or whatnot, and actually spending time outside to being sat in the rooms? Yet they are chatting to the mates. Like, I'll be perfectly honest, playing on the PlayStation is probably one of the few times I actually get to speak to our Yanni, because we both live on opposite ends of the city.
Nah, but you know what you were saying there, Pete, about like knocking for your mates, and when was the last time you rang someone or anything? If I'm being honest, me and Luke talk a lot online, and we talk in parties and that. But I'll have days where I'm in work or fucking I'm just walking home or something. Phone for like an hour and a half, just chatting shit to each other. Yeah, but
that what I mean is, having to wait to go home and then calling them.
Oh yeah, I get what you mean. Do you know what? I never phoned anyone when I was a kid in the house. Off the house phone, my granddad wouldn't let me buy it.
Hold on. I'm calling bullshit on that one. I know exactly who you called, and you end up getting our number blacklisted because you kept on ringing up Say Style going, I want your windows.
Oh my God, lad.
To be honest, the fella called me man a slag a few times, like, it's lucky he didn't
I want your windows.
No, it's like, we want your windows. Because that was the advert, weren't it? It goes Say Style UK.
Yeah.
0800. No, what was the number? 0800.
I don't know, but
0800 1066.
Yeah, see, that's the tune I was singing. I was singing that tune. But the number
that's a Houston Direct, isn't it?
Yeah, the number was 0800 106 107, and I call 0800 106 107 now. We want your windows.
It's mad to think how when we were kids, don't know about hog sauce, probably not, because when he was getting older and starting to realise the outside world, the internet became big. But we used to go around and knock on each other's doors to see whether we're going out to play footy or going to play manhunt.
Fucking hell, how young do you think I am?
To be honest though, Peter, this last part of the podcast just sounds like you're going through a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
I am. But let me carry on. reason why I ask all this is because I think it's mad how far we came to just being able to go around, knock on people's doors to see whether they're coming out, or having to go home, pick up the phone and call someone, to literally just having the capability of anything you want to watch, find out for your homework, see where your mates are, what they're up to. Doesn't matter where they are in the world, right in the palm of your hand, in your smartphones and whatnot.
Do you know what? I said what you're saying there, I get what you're saying, but I think I said this to Luke the other week in the group when we were talking. Isn't it mad that we've got like these powerful computers in the palm of our hands and we spend most of our day or using it, either looking at porn, calling people nonsense on the internet, or just doing anything when we could find out the answers to everything. Exactly. About wrestling.
That's part of the good thing. The fact that we are able to speak to people these days from anywhere in the world.
It's made the world a smaller place. Yeah, exactly. But it's made the world a smaller place and more connected, while also making it more distant in a way. And it's weird because you can put it into words, but you can't really express it to the full extent of what it's like. Do you know what I mean?
You see, media-wise, I sit there and watch stuff on Twitch each week. Like, I've made some good friends from Twitch. I've got friends like Squid, Dandiz, Omega Steak. It's a bird. Fox.
You get your shout outs.
I'll get my shout out.
I might top 5 porn stars. Bradley Reed.
This is staying.
Just giving all your mates shout outs, Peter.
And Cat.
Little big bird, Squid.
It's a bird. Dead silence. It's a bird.
Yeah, and Cat.
It's a bird.
Not bad, but
go on.
I'll be honest. I've spoke to them for the past 2-3 years, or like all over from WhatsApp or over Twitter. I've never met them in real life, but I class them as good mates. That's the thing about the internet these days and social media and networking. You can end up meeting some wonderful people.
It is what you're saying there, but it goes back to like the gaming part last week where we were talking about that. Luke's got loads of mates who he talks to online and that, and I've got mates in Scotland and that which I spoke to online, and I keep in touch with them on Facebook and that. And it's one of that. I don't know them personally. I've never met them face to face, but I feel like I've got a
good bond with them,
friendship with them. Do you know what I mean? Even though I met them online.
Just bear in mind, like Peter and you, Yanni, and Liam, we only met once before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've only met once, and it feels like I've known you for donkeys, you know what I mean?
I've met you a few times, Hog Sauce.
Well, yeah, I was talking more about Peter and Liam.
No.
I was talking more about Peter and Liam.
No, but it's more like Liam coming to the group really because I knew him from work.
You're welcome.
And now not that, like, not saying I'm the glue that holds us all together, but I am. But no, but I mean, like Liam and Luke are close now. They class each other as mates, and that's even regardless of me. Or like Luke's passed Liam on to mates who he's got, and he's mates with them now.
Sorry, I would never class Luke as a mate.
All right, fucking hell, lads.
He's more of a lover.
Oh, baby.
Luke / Liam, aka Hog Sauce.
Nah, that's it.
Yeah, basically, this whole thing was about how we actually are so close, but yet we're so far away from each other. I think at the end of the day, it all depends on your views on how you you view the internet, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Personally, I think it's got its good points, but it's also got its bad points.
Do you know what though, Pete? What you're saying there, we've been quite negative when it comes towards social media and that, but it has got a lot of positives to it as well that we haven't really took a stand on. Because if you stand here and if you sit here and you go, "Oh, social media is great, this, and this," it's a bit of a boring topic. Do you know what I mean?
The only bad thing is the fact that we haven't got enough time to talk about it. Right, guys, that's the end of this week's Weekly Source. We're on iTunes now. If you can leave 5 stars and actually give us a review, that'll help us out an awful lot. Just before we do go, there's something which I'd like to say. People who are actually suffering with mental illnesses like depression, I just want to say, it doesn't matter who it is, there's always someone there you can always pick up your phone, give them a call, go and speak to your doctor. There's always someone to actually help, right? And on that note, ta-ra from me, and a ta-ra from the lads.
I think that's a message we can all get behind. See you later.
Yeah, well said, P.
Bye, guys.